Okay, welcome to Policy Box and how to create policies or document templates. So what we're looking to do here is we're looking to upload our documents that we want the AI and the LLM to refer to. And so this is a really easy process to go through. And this is sort of fundamentally core to the system. So what we're doing here is we're creating essentially the documents that are being referred to. What PolicyBox doesn't do, it doesn't go out to the world and assess all the information that's available on the internet. It doesn't go out and scrape data, and it doesn't go out and steal data. So what it does here is it allows you to control the information that the AI is going to interpret, and that's really sort of important and fundamental to building guardrails that build strong, compliant decisioning engines. The way in which we start this is we have come into the system and we've clicked on the Master Policies tab, and we now simply just go Add New to add a new or create a new master policy. I'm going to create one around employment, so I'm going to call it employee onboarding. Call it version 1 just because we're building it right now. I'm going to confirm that, and I'm happy with that name, that people will understand what it means. And now what we have is we've kind of got this box where we can start to put things into it. First thing I'm going to put into it is I want to put some legislation into it. Now, what we have in terms of the way in which we've architected the system, we've got base level regulations. That's kind of the foundational pieces of information that you want to put in your system. So that might be legislation, a really big policy, but something that's the sort of fundamental base to what you're wanting to build a policy upon. Most of the time, it's legislation. On top of that, we've got this area called legal and compliance opinions. Now, this might be where you put in industry guidelines, a compliance policy that's been written, a set of steps that you've built, some sort of matrix that you've got that helps inform the organization on how to do things. And then above that, we've got these really cool things, which are master policy rules. So these are rules that you can just write that allows you to just send some rules that you want to make sure happens each time. And that allows you to be really flexible. So for instance, in an employment landscape, you might have a rule that says on the first day of employment, we want to make sure that we're buying our employees an ice cream. And that's something that's probably not in legislation, but it's something that you want for your organization. So you just create those rules, and I'll show you how. It's really easy. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go and grab some legislation, and it's as easy as being in that and hitting the Add New button. And so now I'm going to go and just upload a document that I've already just sort of saved somewhere. And so I'll do that now. Now you can see I have found the document that I want to upload. I'll just double click on it to add it, and you can see it's going to give me a preview of what it is. I can just kind of scroll through it and check it to make sure it's the right document. You can see it's quite a complete 47-page document of award joy. And so, but we want to have that within the system because we want to make sure it captures any sort of fair work requirements that we may have in terms of employment. So now that I've got that in there, I'm comfortable that that's the right document. I'm just going to publish that document and publish that policy. Now that policy is being sort of interrogated by our system, so effectively built into a structure that's now usable for us to interrogate later on. And this is kind of one of the technologies that's sort of reasonably new to the world. It allows us to treat documents as data. I'll go back, you can see that's processing. So sometimes some of the larger documents can take a little bit of time to process. There's a little bit of complexity in terms of getting that into the system that our system manages. So that'll just run in the background now. While that's running, I'll go into the legal and compliance opinions and I'll add a document there. And so I'll go and find a document that talks about employment. Now again, I'm just going to hit add new on this and go and find the document that I'm after. And I've found the document that I'm after now. I will add that document. And again, this is kind of a probably a pretty scratchy standard document that I might have that explains what we do in a certain scenario. This is for onboarding and pre-screening before we bring on an employee. This is a really interesting one. I find it really helpful to explain the system because it's an employee framework where there's 7 levels of employees. Some we do governance oversight for, some we don't. And there's quite a good matrix around the things we do for different levels. So it's a nice sort of matrixed complex environment that we have. And traditionally we'd have to go and find this document and figure out what we do, but now we can just kind of upload it to the system and the system will build us a decisioning application really, really quickly. Now I just want to publish those documents. Let's publish that policy, and that policy is now being again uploaded into the system. Now we've got 2 documents being uploaded into the system, and we're going to set some master policy rules. Now what I want to do here is I want to add some new rules, and these rules are the sort of really great rules that allow us to add a bit of structure to things that aren't necessarily in legislation or policies, or we want to make sure that it happens, and so we want to set these really strong binary rules. For the employment scenario, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an example for ice cream. I might spell it correctly next time. And what I'll do is I'll set what we want to happen. So the rule description for employees in South Australia. We need to buy a vanilla ice cream for them on their first day because we're a really, really nice company that does nice stuff. Now I'll set that rule, publish that rule. That rule is now in the system. And if we're doing some work on a South Australian employee, that rule would be referenced. We might want to add some other rules as well. So we can add rules that say don't do something, or we can add rules that say do something, or remember something. So I'll add another rule, which is the 30-day review. So on 30, maybe we'll just go schedule a 30-day review with a new employee. We can add what we want to review, but for the example, we'll just add that, and that's enough. And now that rule is being published as well. So we've got 2 new rules. You can add as many as you like. You can now manage this system without having base level regulations or compliance opinions. You could just use master policy rules. You could just build a set of rules. You don't need any of you only need kind of one of these to be completed for the system to work, but you can have all of them completed as well. So you can build quite a set of documents and rules behind it to build that policy engine. Now that's done. We're ready to go. We've got a policy. We'll go and check to see how our documents. We can see both documents are now published. So we can go now and start to create a matter. And if I show you where you create a matter, we simply go to the Create Matters, and you can see that if we select a master policy, we can see that there's an employee onboarding policy ready to go. That's the one we've just created. And in a separate video, we'll show you how to create a matter. Thank you for listening. I hope you really enjoy it and find it really, really easy to use. We've tried to build it in a way that means that, effectively we minimize having to get programmers to change systems. We can just do it ourselves now. Thanks.